How can we all get better?
Learn faster. Use artificial intelligence. The future is grim for people who are not learning fast, who are not exposed to this technology. Complacency kills our ability to adapt. The biggest question is, how are you going to compete with billion-dollar companies? How are you really going to differentiate yourself in the ocean of millions and billions of messages? This is the challenge that a lot of businesses will have. You see businesses and business owners, entrepreneurs, being very complacent. As a very technological generation, we lack to understand that complacency kills innovation. And I think that this is one of the biggest challenges that business as we know it will face. Social media, with the advancements in AI and all these targeting algorithms, allowed us to marry demand business with the consumer. You cannot really separate business from real life anymore. Everything is business, everything is messaging, everything is marketing, everything is brand. And unfortunately, greed is a part of all of this. A lot of the business owners and CEOs, all they talk about is sales quotas and revenue and growth. You know, when you find a CEO talk about what his or her customers actually want, what the customers and the consumer actually needs, then you have found a gem of a brand. Very few people are talking about that. And that's where I think you separate the men from the boys. How well do you know your customer? And what are you doing as a business to really address the needs and the wants and the desires of that customer? A business is not only about generating revenue and profits, it's about addressing a human condition. The best way to sell is not by setting quotas. You have to listen, you have to care, and you have to be able to tell a story.
How will you wow your customers and the consumer?
I think the best way to wow your customer is still to provide value. And what's more valuable than giving people what they want?
How do you figure that out?
I think that we have access to incredible technologies. Nowadays, you can access tools that have millions of data points for $100 a month. And you have artificial intelligence to analyze all of that data. But data is just part of this. Data alone will not solve our problems. I always want to bring it back to human condition and human interaction. It's not about B2C or B2B. It's about human to human. And if you can solve that puzzle, you will get your demand. With social media today, anybody can tell a story. It's not like the old days where you had to have millions of dollars and the media outlets at your fingertips to be able to tell that story. Anybody can tell a story. Of course, it has gotten a lot more complex. You have to compete with millions and billions of videos and reels and shorts.
How will you differentiate your message then?
Well, you need to hone in into your audience. Who are you really trying to target? It cannot be billions of people. You have to nail down your ideal audience. And you have to create the right type of content, tell the right type of story to captivate that audience. And to captivate the audience, you have to give them what they're looking for, what they want. And now, with artificial intelligence, you have to anticipate what they will want in the next 6 to 12 months. I think that makes you an incredible marketer. And we have these technologies at our fingertips. There are billions of ways to use these technologies. And only when you figure out a way to anticipate what your audience will need and want and require, you will be in business. Only then do you deserve to be in business. Your story needs to be different. And difference comes with authenticity. Difference comes with creativity, with innovation. We've become a society of copycatters. Everybody is copying one another. I think that we are killing creativity with social media. And the true winners of this era are the people who can stay creative, who can still innovate. Doesn't matter what you do. Difference comes with human emotion and human interaction. I think if we can solve that equation, you have your answer to being able to target masses and get your audience and be viral and famous. I think it still comes back to the most basic human element, which is human emotion. But again, millions and billions of content. How are you going to get that emotion? How are you going to really tell that story? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of entrepreneurs are not patient. Most business people are in love with the concept of growth than growth itself. That's why you have all these entrepreneurs now. No creativity, no innovation. I want to make $1 million yesterday, and I don't want to invest into the future. It's not sustainable. It will fail. I call it the concept of minimum viable dose.
What do you mean by the minimum viable dose?
Well, minimum viable dose is about the minimum amount of effort to reach a specific goal or objective. Again, we live in the era of overdoing things and overanalyzing things. I think our salvation is in simplification. And if you look at any big brand, any successful brand that has been in business for decades, you will see that they have simplified very complex processes, because you can't scale with complexity. You can only scale with simplicity. But if you are not patient, you will never find long-lasting success. You may make a lot of money, but it's not going to last. True success requires a strategy and a long-term approach. Nobody ever created a brand that is visible to millions of people in 12 months. Just think about all the brands that you admire today. All the brands that you would buy spending thousands of dollars. If you're into luxury, Louis Vuitton, Hermes. If you're into cars, BMW, Benz. How many years ago were those brands established? It took them decades to become a brand. It takes patience to build something substantial. And especially in the business world, we're not patient.
How can you be patient if you're still worried about paying your bills?
Well, that's where the strategy comes into place. You see, the money in your bank account is a macro conversion. When you get the sale, when you get the order, you need to look at your micro conversions. You need to look at the activity. A micro conversion is how many email opt-ins are you getting? How much traffic do you get to your site? And how long do they stay on your site? Are they consuming your content? Are they reading the articles? Are they watching your videos? And micro conversions for a B2B business is engagement, activity. How many leads did you get? How many proposals did you send out? If you're in the e-commerce business, before an e-commerce sale happens, you have to have product page views. You have to have views to your cart. You have to have checkout attempts, right? So today's technology is beautiful, and it helps us track all of these things where you can identify where the problem is. You can identify where the money is going to come from, but for that, you have to have the right infrastructure. And unfortunately, majority of the businesses do not have this infrastructure, so they go by assumption. And if you're running your business with assumptions, you're going to panic. You're going to be impatient. That's when you worry about paying your bills, and that's where you start failing. You start failing as a business. And in the past 18 months, I have seen a lot of friends go out of business, and you all have seen thousands, tens of thousands of people lose their jobs. This is the reason. Complacency is our enemy. Everybody wants to make money yesterday. Nobody wants to invest into tomorrow. Where do you think this equation will take you as a business? When you are thinking about the next 12 years, instead of thinking about the next 12 months, you are playing a completely different game.
What is important for you in business?
I just want to do good business. I just want to do ethical, good business. I want to provide a lot of value, a ton of value. I don't want to take somebody's money just to make money. Money is not the priority for me. I can make money doing a lot of different things. Business is not about money for me. Money is a bonus of doing what I do today, this exciting rush of keeping up with the technology, keeping up with tools and artificial intelligence, and the process of discussing this with like-minded people, partners, associates, co-workers. This is exciting for me. Money is just a bonus. I like the process of learning and getting smarter and wiser. Entrepreneurship and business is the ultimate points game that I can play for the rest of my life. What else am I gonna do? I'm not ready to start playing golf yet.
How would you differentiate marketing from branding?
Yes, a lot of people don't know what branding is, and I don't blame them. Well, let's give an example. Let's look at two coffee shops across from one another. Busy street in New York City. One of the coffee shops is owned by Marketing Mike, let's call this gentleman. Marketing Mike is great with signs on the windows, promotions. Everybody that comes in, Marketing Mike asks for their phone number, email address. He's like, okay, if you get this coffee, you get one for free. Bring your cousins or bring your relatives and I'll give you a free espresso shot. Marketing Mike is great at just keeping on with the message, right? He doesn't miss a beat. He never misses an opportunity. Always a fresh new idea, a fresh new promotion. If you walk by Marketing Mike's coffee shop, you are surely going to see different messages week after week. You will never continue to see the same message for a long period of time. Marketing Mike is great at marketing. He has the right technologies, the right point of sale system. He's just great. He's on top of his shit. Then you have the other coffee shop that's ran by Branding Betty, let's call her. And Branding Betty focuses more on human connection and human interaction. She has a bookshelf where customers can come in and find books that you cannot find anywhere else. She spends the time to find these books. She brings in local artists for music, local artists for art, displays their art, allows them to play in her coffee shop. And she does these little things, these little nuances. She gives every single coffee with a handwritten thank you note to the customers. She creates an experience. Branding Betty creates a cozy environment that whispers, welcome home when you walk into her coffee shop. And over time, her coffee shop becomes a hub, a community hub, where artists meet, where ideas are exchanged, where relationships flourish. Marketing grabs attention. Branding builds relationships. Marketing brings people in today. Branding keeps them coming back tomorrow. Marketing gets you noticed. Branding makes you unforgettable. That's the difference.
It sounds difficult. How can you achieve branding?
I think that you have to find an idea, your world-altering idea. I call it EMC squared. Einstein's world-altering idea was EMC squared, the theory of relativity. You need to find your EMC squared. What is that crazy idea, that world-altering, world-changing idea that you have? And how does it affect humanity? How does it affect your audience? How does it affect the consumers? I think if you answer that question, it becomes a lot easier to be able to brand yourself.
How would you brand yourself?
Good question. Learn, grow, teach. That's the framework that I plan on branding myself with. I love to learn. I love to grow. I want to grow. I want to be a better version of myself tomorrow. And I want to teach. I want to teach others what I have learned. I think that's a good concept and good framework to live by, don't you think?
You sound angry on some of your videos. How do you differentiate the passion from anger?
I think one of the saddest things in life is wasted potential. I get very passionate when I see potential that's being wasted. Doesn't matter in what area or what industry or what business or which individual. That's why I push the concept of learn, grow, teach. Because that framework, learn, grow, teach, eliminates wasted potential if executed accurately. And I'm very passionate about that. Marketing, branding is my business. E-commerce is my business. Therefore, yes, sometimes I do get passionate enough that gets close to anger when I see wasted potential, when I see complacency. When I see complacency from people that have so much potential. That's why the audience probably sometimes feels like I'm angry, but I'm not angry. It's more frustration than anger. Seeing that potential wasted is the worst experience for me.
How can we all get better?
Learn faster. Use artificial intelligence. It will make you a better person. It will make you act faster. And it doesn't matter what you do, the gap between the rich and the poor is going to increase significantly. But the gap between accessible information is not big, it's almost non-existent. A billionaire has access to the same information or similar information as you do. A billionaire uses Google search. A billionaire looks at the same income statements, balance sheets, with more zeros at the end. What will differentiate people at an individual level, as communities and as businesses, is going to be how fast they can move. And artificial intelligence is one of those things. It will help us be better. I genuinely believe that because it makes me faster. It takes me 1 day to complete the work that used to take me 1 week 3 years ago. No joke. And that's one of the reasons I get really, really frustrated when I see my friends or when I see my coworkers not using this technology. I'm like, just shoot me. Use it. And we've become so complacent that we don't use this technology. It's the definition of insanity. We all need to do better. We all need to get faster. And faster does not mean moving faster. Faster means using the technology. It's not about working more. That's one thing that people confuse. Faster actually means smarter. AI helps you do that. The online tools help you do that. Mobile phone technology helps you do that. The different systems, the CRMs, the project management systems help you do that. Just use the technology. Learn how to use the technology. Step 1 to being better.
Where do you see the future?
The future is bright for me. I'm an early adopter of these technologies. I see where this is going. I'm more confident than ever in terms of what I have to do. The future is grim for people who are not learning fast, who are not exposed to this technology. The future looks grim for people who are adopting complacency, people who choose to be victimized instead of being empowered. But I'm hopeful. I'm patient. I think it's gonna take a minute, but we will get there. As humanity, our biggest skill set is to adapt. The reason that we're sitting here today in an air-conditioned room is because our ancestors were able to adapt to different conditions. Complacency kills our ability to adapt. I urge everybody to be open to change. I urge everybody to be open to adapt, regardless of how difficult things may seem. I think a successful future for humanity, a successful future for your business lies in adaptation. I truly believe that.